is very, very common to shart yourself hard on sumo deadlift. That's horrifying, right?
They're like, I didn't think that'd feel like that. All chiropractic works. It's just how you want to apply it.
Welcome to Jacked and Cracked, the podcast where chiropractic care, fitness, and real-life stories come together. Get insights, practical tips, and everything you need to move better and live stronger.
Welcome back to the Jacked and Cracked podcast. I'm your host, Zebulon Thomas, and we're here with Dr. Max.
Hey, guys.
I have some great news for our show today, Dr. Max. We have some updates. The official website has just launched, so you can now go to jackedandcracked.com, and there's a whole bunch of great information there. You can watch our episodes. You can find our links to our other, like where we're at on podcast platforms. There you can refer a guest, you can become a guest, all types of cool stuff. And there's going to be an offer page. So as Dr. Max and I connect with other sponsors and people that we want to put together some cool offers and deals for you, you can go to the offer page and get all of that. And Dr. Max, I'm sure you're probably going to want to put some fun facts up there or stuff like that too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll probably even set up a link if you want to become a patient of the office and stuff like that.
Yes. And all our connected links. So I'm excited for that. We've been working on that for quite some time. Just to kick things off, as a chiropractor, your workout routine has probably changed over the years. How have you approached working out different than most of us because of you being a chiropractor?
Sure. That's a great question. So I can never completely destroy myself in a workout, go full send like I could when I was younger, because if I'm really, really sore, the next day it's going to make it more challenging for me to adjust people. So I need to give as much as I can to my workouts, but I need to make sure that I'm recovering appropriately from the workout in such a way that it's not going to take away from what I do professionally on the chiropractic side. And so as you know, and some of our viewers and listeners who have listened to other episodes know, there is a CrossFit gym. CrossFit Strongsville is in our facility here at the Healthiest You. So I just got done training right before we were recording this episode. And for example, today was deadlifts. So I'll take the deadlifts up to a nice heavy weight range for whatever rep set I'm doing. But I always leave just a little bit in the tank when it comes to those heavier lifts, because again, what I was finding, and this became really apparent during a stretch where I was the only doc in the practice. I had like a 3-month stint when I was between associates before I brought in Dr. Stephanie, who's now been here for over 2 years, where I was by myself for about 4 months. That if I lit myself up in the gym on something like deadlifts or back squats, it was really hard to adjust people the next day just because I was sore. I wasn't hurt or anything. It just, my muscles were sore the way your muscles get sore, but it was taking steam off of my adjustments. And I always pride myself on being a chiropractor who can adjust people of all different shapes and sizes. So if you came in and you were a bigger stature than me, it became really challenging to adjust those people if I was really sore from the workouts. But at the same point in time, I always view my training regimen as something that needs to be an example to patients. So you ask about how my workout has changed as a chiropractor, and with age, I've realized it's really important to be able to answer questions for patients when they ask them about me personally that become relatable. And so if I'm not getting regularly adjusted, it's kind of silly to tell a patient to, right? It's silly to tell you and your family to if I don't regularly adjust myself and my family. So in the same regard, that I take that into play when it comes to my nutrition and my fitness too. When it comes to my workouts, if I say, oh, well, all I do, Mrs. Smith, is work out 6 days a week and I got the gym inside here and it's like 3 hours a day, well, then that's not appropriate to explain to a patient, because they probably can't mirror what I'm doing. So instead, I decided that it was very important to try to create a workout routine, a supplement routine, and really a lifestyle routine that patients could mirror. So I could tell a patient what to do, and they could literally do the same exact thing if they wanted to.
Oh, nice.
So I work out 3 days a week, and I have a push day, a pull day, and a leg day. And so it still follows a power lifter split, essentially. So push day is anything from bench press to tricep push downs, anything with a pressing motion, shoulder press, push-ups, all of that stuff. And usually what I'll do is a reasonably heavy strength component. And then I turn the back end of my workout where most powerlifters or bodybuilders would then do all of their accessory movements, but that might take them another 45 minutes to hour. I turn those movements into a CrossFit workout. So instead, I'll pick, let's say, push-ups and pec flies and tricep press downs. And I'll turn that into like an EMOM. And every minute on the minute, you go between the stations there and you're hitting several reps of each.
And
so
is that what makes it different, a CrossFit workout from a regular workout, is the fact that you're in intervals?
Yeah, very little rest. Exactly. So you're working out under fatigue and you get the same amount of reps in, and you really probably get more of a burn and more of a pump because you're going faster. So I'll usually, that all of my accessories I'll hit within somewhere between like 9 and 15 minutes, because I'll turn it into some sort of CrossFit workout instead. So I'm always moving, and that has allowed me to maintain my strength, maintain a degree of aesthetics too. Of course, our office is called the Healthiest You, so I don't want to look like I'm not trying to be the healthiest me. And at the same time, it's time efficient. I can work out for an hour and a half. So when people ask, hey, Dr. Max, what do you do to train? I could say, well, I work out 3 days a week and I work out for about an hour and a half. And most people are surprised when I share that information, because they're expecting a very different answer. They're expecting, because we have a gym in here, that it's 5 days a week and I'm doing all this other stuff, or that I'm in there for 3 hours. Okay, if it's 3 days a week, is it 3 hours a day? And it's not. It's, again, 3 days a week for about an hour and a half. My wife Chrissy's very similar training regimen too. Today was pulling day, as I mentioned, with the deadlift. So I did a heavier deadlift set and then kind of worked through different pulling motions, whether it's high pulls from my shoulders or bicep curls pulling motion too, stuff like that. Rows, lat pull downs, pull ups, stuff like that. And you turn it into a CrossFit workout. So you're also getting that cardiovascular component. So I don't just feel like an out of shape strong guy. Instead, I feel like I'm still fit. I can run around the yard.
Which I will say that, before I met you, Dr. Max, the chiropractors that I had seen, worked with, or, been adjusted by, they were not in shape. And I don't know if that was that generation. I mean, these are a lot of older gentlemen than us, and they were always, large, out of shape. They had great energy, right? Maybe because they were in alignment, but some of these chiropractors seem like they were the ones that put, obviously, all their patients first and them last. And that's easy to do in business. You put our clients first, and we forget about ourselves in the process. And you have not done that. So when I met you, I was like, look at this guy, right? Like, taking good care of himself. And the other thing I think is impressive is you're talking about your workout routine and how you found the balance so that you can maintain your clients, because you have a lot of demand. I mean, you see a lot of clients every day, that you've been able to still bulk up, because you were not always bulked up like you are. I've seen your child photos, which are very cute. You were a small dude, right? Like, and now I would say, like, what is your secret to that? Like, how are you able to still bulk now, add more muscle, or are you just maintaining what you've put on?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think one very important thing to get out there immediately, because this is a hot button subject in the fitness, especially social media world, is the whole like natural versus not natural, which can be vague and everything. So I'll be a little bit more specific with it. I've never ever used a steroid. I've never consciously used any sort of performance enhancing drug, no growth hormone, nothing like that. So that, some people might say, okay, well, you work out a little less, but if you're on TRT or you're doing, there's no exogenous, meaning outside the body hormone going into my routine or anything like that. So with that set aside, so I'd be what the interwebs would call natty. So true natty. And the reason I say consciously is because back when I first started working out, you'd go to GNC and I was like a 16-year-old kid, and you'd just buy whatever the guy behind the counter told you to take. Yeah. So didn't know what you were taking. then like 2 years later, you'd be like, oh, where'd that product go that you told me worked really good? And they'd be like, oh, they banned it. So
Oh, no.
there's a little bit more control over that stuff now. So that's why I always say I never consciously took anything that would be considered a PED or unnatural. But there's a pretty high likelihood if you took anything from GNC in the 90s or 2000s, you're probably taking.
Yeah, read your labels, and we'll do an episode on that too, because people,
absolutely.
what does all that mean? Yeah.
But diet is a big piece of it, making sure that you're eating enough calories. Rest is a huge component of it. So when I was younger, I did work out a lot more. I'd work out 5-6 days a week. And I could never understand, even you'd hear like a football player stats, right? You'd hear like a linebacker stats or a running back, and you'd be like, how on earth does that guy weigh 220 or 230 pounds or linebacker 250 pounds? You'd be like, man, I'm roughly his height. I feel like I'm kind of muscular, but like I'm going nuts here. I'm working out all the time. I'm drinking weight gainers. I'm doing all this stuff. And like, I can't get over 200 pounds. Age does slow our metabolism a little bit, and so that makes it a little easier to gain weight. I feel like every time my wife had a kid, I gained like 5 pounds. So it's kind of a funny thing.
Sympathy weight? Is that what that is?
Exactly. So the funny thing is I would lose weight while she was pregnant with like the stress of bringing a new child into the world, and then I would gain weight immediately after they showed up because you're just hanging out at home with them. But a lot of it comes from giving your body the opportunity to recover. So the recovery is as important as the weight training, and the nutrition is as important as the weight training. And so a lot of people will give what they've got in the gym, but then they leave the gym, and let's say it's a Friday, and they'll eat a crummy meal, or maybe they don't eat a whole bunch because after that they're getting together with friends, and then they go hit the town and they have some drinks. And the problem is, your body will always prioritize detoxing itself over muscle building and fitness. So now you've introduced, let's say alcohol into the system, and now your body has to get rid of that. It only has a limited amount of energy that's available. So it's going to blow all of its energy trying to detox you. So you kind of erase that workout you just had 2 hours ago because you wanted to have a good time with friends. And I'm not saying you can't go out and enjoy yourself, but I'm saying
that turns into a weekly thing, right?
Yeah. And so a lot of people, you might go to the gym, and let's say you've been at your gym for years, and you look at some of the other people in the gym who maybe aren't that fit, but you see them there every time they're there. It doesn't really add up, right? You're like, they're at the gym all the time. They're at the gym as much as I am, but they don't, and they look like they work out pretty hard when they're here, but they don't look physically like they're working out. Big component of that is either not appropriate rest cycle, which is literally time away from the gym, but also sleeping. But the other thing is just how the nutrition looks, and the nutrition including alcohol consumption, how that looks. If you do like to partake in alcohol consumption, get it away from your workouts, get it so that it's nowhere near that, so that your body fully recovers and has a chance to rebuild.
Time between.
Before you're going to partake in something like that. And I think that the nutrient timing is really big. So for me, it's been a lot of that. It's been having appropriate rest, doing appropriate supplements. You guys see, in the past 2 episodes, because I'm just finishing up my workout, I've got my drink here. This has protein, carbohydrates, and for me about 11 grams of creatine and even a little joint complex in there. So for healthy joints. So this comes in right after the workout. Your body is starving for nutrition because you just utilized all of your carbohydrates and all of your creatine in your system. So your body's looking to replenish that. And so immediately getting this back in the system really helps generate benefit and gain too. So
that's big. So is that like, okay, so first of all, that what you just said also sounds kind of like where people feel like and people listen to this, if you feel like you hit a plateau, it could simply be you are working out, you're doing everything you need to do, but it's not even that you're not eating the right food. You're just not, you could be introducing the cheat day or the binge stuff or the alcohol or things like that too soon to the workout, or you haven't really done your due diligence in the kitchen, right? And so you're defeating all the work in the gyms, because I've seen that too. I've seen plenty of people, like you're saying, in the gym and as a plateau.
Yeah, most patients I treat that partake in exercise work out more than I do, because they think they have to. And If you love working out, that's great. Then work out 5 days a week if you have the time for it and it's a true passion. I love working out, but just as you kind of alluded to, time does not permit me to a 5 day
Yeah.
a week workout split. So though I enjoy it, I can't do that. But then, as I mentioned to you too, I'm trying to create something that patients could also follow. So when it comes to my nutrition, to my fitness, to all of it, the way I'm adjusted, I try to create an example that the people around me can also do. And so that's really important. That's also why there's not a exogenous hormone component to what I do, because it's just never been an interest of mine. I'm not doing it professionally. Though it's my profession to be healthy, it's not, I'm not competing professionally. I think that what people want to do with their own body is their own prerogative. So I'm not going to downplay people using that or call cheating or anything like that. I think it does put you in a category all of your own, though. So I think that it's dangerous to take advice from sources that are using exogenous hormones.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's steroids, whether it's TRT, anything like that. And again, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes that fitness or health advice will not translate to someone who's not using those things. And so I think there's a lot of good information out there on the internet about fitness, and some of the sources that are providing that fitness are using steroids or TRT or growth hormone or copious amounts of peptides. That's big right now, right? The peptides and how those can help with your fitness. And I think those are great. The thing with the peptides really that becomes the issue is they're really expensive. So I think they're maybe on the safer side as far as things you're going to take, especially if you're going to use, something where you have to give yourself a shot. I think they're on the safer side. However, they're really expensive. So not a lot of people can actually afford to add that into their fitness regimen. So again, what I try to create here and what we're going to try to go over, I think in Jacked and Cracked, as you and I have talked about, is something that is for everybody. Some sort of fitness advice and health advice, chiropractic advice that everyone can take with them, because I'm trying to be everyone. I'm not trying to be just in a league all of my own.
And one of the things I want to add too is for me, I fall off the workout a lot, and I'm trying to get more consistent. It should be easier for me to find that consistency and ability to for the time now that I'm older, but the workouts are harder because I feel that I haven't kept up with it. So, what I've been trying to do is integrate little 5-minute, hits that I can do throughout my day when I know I have a busy day and I haven't made the time. How do you feel about working out? Does it affect you in different times of day? Like, I'm not really a morning person for workouts. That might be a walk. That's it. I'm not athletic in the morning. It's not my body. So a midday thing, but I got to do it early enough, because if I don't do it too soon, then I lose it in the day. Sometimes my guys will be like, hey, let's hit the gym, and it's, close to 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
Is late workouts, does that affect your body?
So the upside of a workout later in the day is that you've had more time to, first off, be awake and alert. You've also had more time to introduce some calories into the system, some carbohydrate, things like that, and giving your body a chance to digest that also. So you can tend to have more powerful workouts. So you're going to be able to exert more because you have those carbs in the system, because you've been awake longer. On Thursdays, I tend to work out earlier in the morning. I coach a CrossFit class at 6 a.m. and then I work out right afterwards. And I would say I might as well kind of just shave 10% off my top end strength when I do that, because it's early in the morning for me. I've had a granola bar and funny enough, some Fairlife chocolate milk to wake myself up in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's about it, because I don't want too much in the system, because then if you take a pre-workout, it just tears your stomach apart. And then your body's actually exerting all of that energy dealing with the tummy. So then you don't have that energy to use with your lifts. Where if you work out midday or later, you've had, maybe a couple meals in the system. And so those carbs, that blood sugar is readily available. You're going to be more alert. So that's more helpful. The early morning stuff is really good for cardio.
Okay.
And fat burning, it can be great. So if you want to go on that early morning walk, that's awesome. Morning cardio it's a thing as old as time, and it is a good thing. It's a very effective way to train. Bodybuilders for years have been doing it where they wake up early in the morning, they do their cardio, fasting cardio, while they watch a TV show or some ESPN or something like that. Then they go get on with their work day, and then in the evening they do the weights. That'd be a very effective way to do like a 2-a-day training thing if you had the time for that. I still prioritize strength. So if I had my way and the schedule permitted me to, I would be more like you, where I trained more mid to late day so that I had more gas in the tank to move more weight. And by moving more weight, you're going to generate a greater impact on your system. And remember that growing muscles and acquiring fitness, speed, strength, aesthetics is all a defense mechanism to the trauma you put yourself through in that workout. It also means that if you're working out and you're not putting your body into those trauma states, you're never going to generate any results. Going back to what you mentioned with me being able to still gain muscle mass, getting older, working out less, being 38 years old, giving what I can to those workouts without, like I said, getting too sore to where I struggle with my job is really, really important too, because you're triggering that defense mechanism so that you actually achieve gains in fitness. I always tell people, if you walk out of the gym and you walk into the parking lot and the thought goes through your head, I could probably turn around, go right back into the gym and do that same workout again with the same weights. You definitely did not work out hard.
So you need to step it up. Yeah.
At CrossFit Strongsville, fitness is more than just a workout. It's a community. Experience heart, strength, and fun in every session. Overcome your obstacles, get fitter, and laugh along the way. It's time to start your journey today. Visit CrossFitStrongsville.com. The Healthiest You Chiropractic Center is dedicated to helping you live pain-free and feel your best. They offer personalized care for all ages, from injury recovery to wellness. They've got you covered. Start your journey to peak wellness today. Visit thychiro.com. That's thychiro.com. Looking to level up your podcast? Join me on the Podcast on the Rough, where I dive into the world of podcasting with raw conversations, real strategies, and unfiltered insight. Learn the tips and tricks that I use to help top podcasters grow and impact their audience. Subscribe now.
I turned to the community and I asked a few people some questions that we put together for you, Dr. Max. And this one comes from Nancy from Medina. She says, a lot of people get stuck in the same routine and it can become boring. How do you, Dr. Max, keep things fresh in your workouts? Is there something new you're trying lately, or is it about staying consistent with the workouts that you began with?
That's a great question. The funny thing is, though you want to consistently work out, you actually regularly want to change how you're working out, because your body is really good at kicking it into cruise control. So if you keep doing the same types of workouts, or you keep using the same weights or the same rep ranges, or the same movements, your body will throw into cruise control, which does not trigger that defense mechanism, and then you won't rebuild bigger, stronger, faster.
Wow.
So it's very important to change up your workout routine regularly. So consistency with your frequency of working out, your duration is very good, but then changing up how you do that workout is imperative. I tell people all the time, if you don't like a certain type of workout style, please don't do that, because working out should not feel like a chore, because if it does, you'll find every excuse not to do it, like taking out the trash. It should never feel like taking out the trash. It should feel like a highlight in your day. And so
you should look forward to it, not dread it, right?
Heck yeah. So that when you're finishing up work and you know that you get to work out afterwards, it's you get to work out, not I have to work out. And some people are more obsessive about it, so they feel like they have to, but they also get to. It's both. But you don't want it to feel like you're running an errand or doing a chore. So if you like lifting weights, I like the lifting weights. I don't love doing cardio. So CrossFit ends up working out really good for me because I get to hide my cardio in weight training. And that's a great way for me to do it. But I always tell people it's really important to find something you enjoy. So if you go to the traditional gym and you go through the machines and you're like, I don't really like this. I'm like screwing around on my phone as much as I'm working out, or I'm just people watching, and that can be fun for 10 seconds, but it's not like, it's not getting you any more fit. Don't do that style of workout. If you like, yoga, then try yoga. But if you don't like yoga, don't do yoga. You should still warm up and stretch and everything like that. Try Pilates or golly, anything, swimming, fencing, triathlon training, like I said, CrossFit, weightlifting. There's so many different ways to get your fitness in that it's very important that you're enjoying what you do first and foremost. So it feels like a treat and not a chore. For me, I will regularly swap up the style. I will take the same movement and modify the way I do it to keep it interesting, but also to keep my body on its heels. So one week I might do a back squat, just a normal back squat, bars on my back, and I'm doing the weight that way. Then the next week I might go to a box where I squat down to the box, pause, and then come up. Then the week after that, I might do tempo back squats where I go down for 3 seconds, pause at the bottom, and then shoot up as quickly as I can. So you're constantly changing the workout routine. The other thing that's important about that is by modifying the way you move it, you don't always have to go super heavy. So if you're someone that's like, gosh, I kind of like lifting heavy weights, but then it's kind of beats me up and wears me down, especially with age, to just go heavy every single time I'm in the gym, then sometimes it's good to change to pause techniques or what we call tempo, where you come down slow and then you fire up quickly, that style stuff. I think really good music is also really important.
Oh yeah, it's helped you. Yeah.
Yeah, to get you excited too, because maybe you're working all day and you work in a job where you don't get to listen to your music. So getting an opportunity to jam your music is really important, whether it's stuff you like recently, or sometimes it's really fun to go back and listen. Like I was doing that this morning. I was listening to music that I listened to when I was like 19 and worked out.
Oh yeah.
Throws you in that like dumb 19-year-old mode.
Yeah,
so then
it's good. Yeah.
Harder. So that can also be really, really helpful. Blast it, have fun with it, with the music part. I think that's really important. Don't work out in silence. I know some people like to listen to like podcasts and stuff like that, or a sermon.
Yeah.
That's cool for cardio. I would not recommend that for your workouts that are intended to be intense, because it draws your focus away from what you're doing. And when you're doing cardio, especially long duration cardio, that's great. But if you're doing a set of bicep curls, like you want to be focused on the bicep curls or the deadlift, because you want to be moving appropriately.
Yeah.
Not
and with podcast stuff, you're thinking, you're kind of like in the conversation, and you need to. That's a music thing where you've heard it. It's routine. You're in a routine. It blends. Yeah, I agree with that, because when I'm running or. Yeah, because when I'm running or walking, I'm scoping and scanning, and I'm thinking, and I'm kind of in that the thing you don't want to do while you're driving. You're in this like dead stare. You're like really into thought, and your body is automatically doing things.
It's an autopilot.
Yeah. So I have another question from Mark from Strongsville. When it comes to your personal workout routine, is there something you're doing right now that has made a big difference for you?
So what I just recently started doing again with my workout routine that I had gotten away from was tracking my workouts. So I just kind of, you do it long enough so it's all up here, and you just you go through what you want to do that day, and then it's done. But what I just started doing as of maybe the past 2 months again is I've been using our app that we use to log our CrossFit workouts with the CrossFit gym. And I can actually put my own workouts in there too. So I've been putting all of my major lift movements in there. So I don't put every little accessory in there, but I do put the major lift movements. So let's say it's deadlift today. I did make sure that my deadlifts were all logged in there. And that definitely has shown me a boost, not only in the gym in the past 2 months with an aesthetic change here, but also outside of the gym. That has added a lot to my vitality and my energy, because it adds a degree of competition with yourself. So when you don't remember what you did last week, or the last time you did 5 sets of 5 of bench press, you don't remember what you did last time because that was a month ago. It's really nice to have logged that, so you can go back and look at that. And that exact thing happened to me today. I had 5 sets of 2 on deadlift, and I looked at what I did about a month ago when I had 5 sets of 2 and said, okay, well, I got to beat that number. And generating that competition within yourself is really, really helpful in generating gains. So I
like that, because it goes beyond, don't skip leg day, right? We're doing triceps today or whatever, or biceps. And this is more of like, hey, look, this is where I was at. This is what we were lifting. How many reps, and then you stack that or add more weight. And that's going to give you that gain.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you can do that whether you bring a notebook into the gym or just use the notes portion on your app of your phone. You can do that very easily. Or again, there's a million apps for logging workouts. We use SugarWOD because it's tied to our CrossFit gym. But yeah, logging that. And again, I did exactly that today and made sure that I deadlifted 10 more pounds for my last set of 2 than I did the week before. And felt good about that then. Then I was vitalized and energized because I beat myself from a month ago. So you feel like leveling up, so to speak. And so that's really helped. That's really
awesome.
helped.
Awesome. Well, we have just a couple more minutes. I want to plug a few things. And if you want to plug a few things as well, we are going to be moving the public. When we publish our podcast, it'll be now on Mondays at 6 a.m. But of course, you can always go to jackedandcracked.com and binge listen to any of the episodes. We have episodes there. We also are a video podcast. So whether we're doing this style here or Dr. Max and I will be in our studio together, which is going to be even more funny because we're going to get crazy with that. So definitely check that out. And is there anything else you would like to plug?
No. I'm really excited to be doing this again. As we talked about last podcast, this doesn't feel like work for me, and I know it doesn't for you either. It's more of a passion. I get to, hang out here with a good friend and provide information that I love talking about. And, the truth is that in my day-to-day routine with CrossFit and with chiropractic, I don't always have the time to regurgitate this much information for my gym members, for my chiropractic patients, but I want them all to have an opportunity to receive this information because I'm really passionate about it and I love talking about it, if you can't tell.
Yeah.
So please send us questions about these sort of things. Reach out to us, give us ideas for things you'd love to hear about because I love talking about fitness, health, nutrition, and chiropractic. And sometimes, again, even if you're one of our patients, I get to do it in those snapshots with our patient visits. But I love this more long form opportunity to provide a little deeper understanding of a given topic.
Yeah, and we're gonna I'm gonna put a note in right now because I was just thinking about that with the website build since it's new. We're gonna put right there on the front page. If you scroll down, we'll have ask us a question and a simple form. You just submit it. We'll do that there. So we definitely love the questions coming in. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning to Jacked and Cracked podcast. Dr. Max, it's been amazing talking to you again today, and I will see you tomorrow also for my adjustment. I'm excited for that. I definitely need it. I feel it. I can just feel when I'm out. I'm just like, you know what? I'm feeling tired or sluggish and I'm misfiring and I just gotta, now I'm not like this week is not a preventative thing. It's like, let's fix what I messed up.
Yeah.
So I will see that. So, and then hopefully all of our listeners here, hopefully we see you guys inside the, not just in the chats, but also, under the YouTube video, we could get inside the chat community there. And also, I want to see you guys inside the CrossFit Strongsville gym and doing some of that CrossFit and inside the Healthiest You Chiropractic Center. So definitely get adjusted.
Thanks for the plug.
Absolutely. So we can be Dr. Max's and just, you remember we were still in that thing at the very beginning when we started the podcast. We're like, we're gonna get me fit, and we're gonna get me fit. I fell off. So
that's going to be, that's going to certainly be one of our fun projects here on the thing is we're going to take Zeb through the journey, just like we described, so that you can emulate what I'm doing and we can put that to the test with Zeb and see if Zeb here is doing my kind of workout routine, can he generate those results too, or are we just going to blame genetics and call it?
It'll be genetics. Yeah. Well, no, it does come, I would say it also comes down to, what is my goal? I do struggle with do I want to be chiseled or do I want to be a little, I think I want to be more flexible. I want to just be fit. I want to be able to move with stamina too. But I realize as I get older, I do want more muscle. Muscle is going to help me age. So yes, I want to look as close to what my body would look like in a Dr. Max form.
Heck yeah, we're going to do that.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys again. I will talk to you guys soon. Dr. Max, have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you soon.
You too. Thanks so much.
Thanks for tuning in to Jacked and Cracked. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Stay aligned, stay strong, and we'll see you next time.